They keep telling us the economy is strong. The stock market is hitting new highs. Unemployment is low. GDP is growing. Every headline says the same thing. Everything is fine. But if everything is fine, why does it feel like you're drowning financially? Why does a normal grocery trip feel like a luxury purchase? Why does your paycheck vanish instantly, even when you're doing everything right? Something isn't adding up, and it's not just you noticing it. Across the country, millions of people feel the same disconnect. The numbers say one thing, but your life says something completely different. That's because there are actually two economies operating at the same time. One is the official economy, the one politicians brag about on TV. And the other is the real-life economy that you and everyone around you actually live in. On the official charts, everything looks perfect. Corporate profits are exploding. Retail sales are high. The stock market is soaring. Economists point at these numbers and say, "See, the system is working." But here's the truth most people never hear. The stock market is not the economy. GDP is not your bank account. And corporate profits do not reflect your financial health. The official data only measures the top layer of the economy, the layer controlled by corporations, investment firms, and government agencies. But underneath that glossy surface, everything is cracking. In the real economy, the one you live in, things feel completely different. Food prices are still up 25 to 40% from just a few years ago. Rent is at the highest level in American history. Car payments are reaching levels we've never seen before. Insurance is climbing, utilities are climbing, medical costs are climbing. Everything is going up except the one thing that matters most, your income. You're being told inflation is cooling, but nothing is cooling when you check out at the grocery store. Nothing is cooling when your landlord raises the rent. Nothing is cooling when your insurance bill jumps again. The damage was done already. Even if inflation slowed down, prices never returned to where they were. They stayed high, and your paycheck didn't rise to match them. So why does the data say things are improving when your wallet says otherwise? Because the way inflation is measured doesn't reflect the real struggle. When an economist says inflation went down, they don't mean prices dropped. They mean prices increased more slowly. But if something doubled in price last year and only increased by 10% this year, that doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like a slow-motion loss. And then there's shrinkflation. Your cereal box is smaller, your snacks have fewer pieces, and your meats come in thinner packages. You're paying more and getting less while being told everything is under control. It's not under control, it's being redefined. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. The economy only looks strong because people are taking on record levels of debt. Credit card balances are at the highest point ever recorded. Auto loan delinquencies are surging. Buy now, pay later programs are exploding because people can't afford their basic purchases up front anymore. Households are not spending because they feel confident. They're spending because they have no other choice. Debt is masking the collapse of real purchasing power. And while banks and lenders celebrate their profits, families slip deeper into a financial trap that gets harder to escape every month. Even psychologically, the economy feels wrong. Humans don't measure the economy by GDP, interest rates, or stock tickers. They measure it by how safe they feel. Can I afford groceries without stress? Can I pay rent this month? Can I save anything? Can I take care of my family? Can I get ahead? For most people, the answer is no. So even when the numbers say recovery, your brain doesn't believe it because your life doesn't reflect recovery. It reflects survival. And that survival mode is hitting the middle class the hardest. The middle class was once the backbone of American people with stable jobs, predictable expenses, and the ability to save. But now the middle class is being squeezed from every direction. Child care is expensive. Housing is expensive. Car ownership is expensive. Medical care is expensive. Basic living is expensive. Not because people are irresponsible, but because the system shifted. Prices jumped. Wages didn't, and the gap between the two is where the stress comes from. Meanwhile, corporations are reporting record earnings. But those earnings don't signal a strong economy. They signal something much darker. Companies raised prices faster than their costs increased. They cut staff and automated positions. They raised fees. They used stock buybacks to inflate their value. The economy didn't get better for people. It got better for corporations. And that improvement is being sold to you as proof of recovery. So what happens next? We're watching the rise of a strange divide, an economy that looks perfect on charts, and a population that is exhausted and financially stretched. One road leads to new records in corporate profit. The other leads to families choosing whether to pay rent, buy groceries, or cover their bills. These two roads cannot coexist forever. Something eventually has to give. It may be a wave of debt defaults. It may be a slowdown in consumer spending. It may be a correction in the markets. Or it may be something deeper, a complete restructuring of how money flows in the economy. No matter what, one thing is clear. The economy people experience and the economy people hear about are no longer the same thing. And until those two lines reconnect, the disconnect will only grow larger. That's why everything feels off. That's why things feel tight. That's why no amount of budgeting seems to change anything. You're not mismanaging your money, the system is mismanaging your reality. So if you've been feeling stressed about your finances, if you've been wondering why things feel harder now, if you've been confused by the good news you keep hearing, you're not crazy, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. The economy doesn't feel fake. It feels disconnected, because it is. And until the data reflects the truth people are actually living, millions will continue to feel like something is deeply, undeniably wrong. Thanks for watching. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that looks beyond the headlines. We'll see you in the next one.